Welcome to the Dream Portal, where we explore the meaning and the importance of the dreams we experience while we sleep. This is episode 5. Today we're talking about something that everyone at some point in their life has probably experienced: nightmares. Have you ever woken up from a dream suddenly and your heart is like racing? And later on, you probably, describe it to a friend or something, and it doesn't even sound that scary when you actually say it out loud. But in the moment, it felt absolutely terrifying. Sometimes nightmares can leave us feeling shaken for like hours. Sometimes they make us feel afraid to even go back to sleep. But what if nightmares are not punishment? What if they're more like messages? Hi, I'm Shakilia, and welcome to Enchant Your Life. On this channel, we talk about all things spiritual. We talk about manifestation, law of attraction, and ways to live an empowered and magical life. And today, we're looking at nightmares through a new lens. A lot of times, nightmares reflect what's going on in our waking hours. So, whether we're overwhelmed or stressed or worried about something, those thoughts continue to go through our brains and through our subconscious minds while we're asleep. Sometimes they show up in a symbolic way, and sometimes they show up as fear based dreams. Maybe we're thinking about the worst case scenario in a situation, and our minds are so powerful and so creative, we can come up with some craziness. The most scariest stuff can just show up in our dreams. And like I said, sometimes when we explain the dream to our friends or family members, it just doesn't even sound as scary as it actually felt. Because for us, it was more emotional, it was more emotion based. And that's what makes the experience so intense. And what we focus on, it grows and it magnifies and we create a momentum. And sometimes that's not just in our waking hours, that can happen while we sleep. Recurring nightmares are especially interesting. If you dream about the same situation, the same monster, the same place, and things like that that are just repeating night after night, or spaced out, but it's the same type of fear-based dream and nightmare repeating over and over. That's a sign for you to take a deeper look and try to analyze what's going on in the dream and the emotion that you're feeling in the dream. It may be time to ask yourself some questions, such as, what am I feeling emotionally in my waking hours? Is there something maybe I'm avoiding? Is there something I need to face or something I need to heal? You can even ask God, your higher self, inner wisdom, to help you figure out what exactly is going on. Answers don't always come instantly, they can come subtly and over time, but you just need to pay attention and stay open. Sometimes nightmares can be premonitions, and still they're not there to scare you. They're actually there for you to become more aware of something going on. I've had a few premonition nightmares, and they definitely made me think about the way the world works. They're all so mysterious. I know people have dreamt about, what happened with 9/11 before it actually happened. I've dreamt of wartime as if I was in the war, or, the war was coming to me and things like that. And I've heard of people who've dreamt of war. And lo and behold, we're in the middle of some crazy wars going on throughout the world. And sometimes I wonder if there's a connection. We never really know why we're having these premonition type dreams, or if we're connected to, people in other parts of the world and sharing some of their experiences. Who really knows? That's the excitement of, delving into dreams and exploring them, to figure out what's going on, what's the connection. Dreams and nightmares, premonition dreams, things like that are sometimes just another way for our intuition to communicate with us. Even though nightmares can feel really overwhelming, we have to remember something really powerful. We have power in our dreams, in the dream world. We are not victims in the waking world, and we are not victims in our dream world, even though sometimes it can feel like it. Because, in real life, life happens, and in the dream world, dreams happen. But at the same time, you have to remember that you have the power of focus, you have the power of your mind and your thoughts. You can control what you think about. I know sometimes it feels like your thoughts are thinking you and all that kind of stuff, but when you stop, when you meditate, when you become still, you will realize that you can focus on the emotion that you want to focus on. You can focus on things that bring you joy, things that make you feel more empowered and builds a momentum. And in that way, your waking world can feel more like you have a little more control. And therefore, that will go spill over into your dream world where you also have more control. Just remember that you can shift your focus, you can shift your energy, and you can invite peace into your sleep. Before going to bed, you can definitely try some simple practices. Setting an intention for peaceful dreams, saying a prayer, taking a few deep breaths to calm your nervous system, letting go of the stress of the day. And I created a meditation. I'm going to link it in the description. But I have a meditation that I created for you on YouTube where I help you unwind before bed. I help you let go of any stress or worries that you had throughout the day and help you set the intention for a peaceful night's sleep so that you can wake up feeling refreshed. Now, girl, I know that you think your mind is just soaking up whatever is thrown at it throughout the day. But listen to me. Your mind listens mostly to what you tell it and to what you believe is true. You are the master of your life. What's going on in the world today, there's a lot of fear based media and things like that being thrown at you to try to keep you at a low vibration, which makes you start to feel powerless. Be aware of what some of these negative people are out there doing. A lot of them know what they're doing. A lot of them know that giving negative information out and having people feel fearful helps keep them feeling more powerful. But you, girl, you, my friend, you are more powerful than they are. Another thing, as I mentioned, is you can pray. And for example, I'm just going to suggest a little prayer. You can, of course, make your own prayer, whatever feels right for you. But you can say something like this: God, please protect my mind and spirit while I sleep. Fill my dreams with peace, love, and wisdom tonight. Allow only what was meant for my highest good. Amen. And so be it, and so it is. You can also do a few affirmations. Affirmations are always powerful, especially when you feel them as you're saying them. So here's a few. I am safe while I sleep. My dreams guide and support me. I welcome peaceful and restorative dreams. If you wake up from a nightmare, just remind yourself it was just a dream. You are awake and you are safe. Take a few deep breaths in and out deeply and just become aware of your body. Become still and feel each part of your body to help you become more present in the moment. Sometimes just shifting your focus and becoming aware of the moment can help shift your energy. So, I know that nightmares can make you feel so frightened in the moment because they feel so real sometimes. But sometimes there's simply a way that our mind is telling us to pay attention. Pay attention to our emotions, pay attention to our stress and what's going on in our lives. Pay attention to what we're focusing on. And when you do that, you can decide to realign. Dreams are a part of our guidance system, so, we have to appreciate them. And even though some of them may be terrifying and have you waking up in tears sometimes, they are here to help us to pay attention to what is going on. And when we learn to listen without fear, they can become very powerful teachers. Let me tell you something real quick. I've had a recurring nightmare of a situation that I didn't want to have happen. And lo and behold, it happens. And I was upset and all that stuff. But when I learned about the power of my focus and the way that I can change my vibration during the day to affect what I'm dreaming about and eventually affect everything that's going on in my life, I noticed a type of recurring dream of that type of situation happening again, but I was aware this time. And what I did was I said, "Oh no, okay, I know that my dream is telling me that I'm on the wrong vibration, wrong thoughts going on throughout the day." And so while I was awake, I was able to, you know, focus, look deeper at what the situation was and how I can change my perspective on it, knowing how powerful I am and knowing that my minds, my thoughts can completely affect my dreams and my entire life. And in that way, I was able to nip it in the bud in my waking hours and stop those dreams from happening. And once I realized those dreams stopped happening, in real life, it didn't manifest because I saw what was going on in advance based on my past experience with my nightmares and my recurring dreams like that. I was able to recognize my pattern and I was able to shift so that not only did my nightmares change and stop reoccurring, but I was able to improve my waking life and prevent more negativity from, having a momentum and manifesting. So you are that powerful. I hope you understood what I just said. It was a lot of words, but I was describing, learning from past dreams and seeing how the outcome was, and then knowing that I can recognize it and stop it in its tracks before it manifested again. So you don't have to wait for something to happen to you negatively due to a nightmare or something like that. But you can decide that, okay, I had this dream. Let me see what's going on now before it starts to become a pattern. So I just want to thank you so much for walking with me through the dream portal in this episode. If this episode resonated with you, be sure to hit that like button, that bell notification so you get notified of my other videos, and subscribe, okay? If you haven't subscribed yet and you like conversations about spirituality and all that good stuff, law of attraction, manifestation, having a magical, empowered life, be sure to subscribe. And if you know anyone who also wants to live that type of life and have these conversations, share it with a friend. If you've experienced nightmares or recurring dreams, I would love to hear about it. Please put it in the comments if you feel like you want to share. Sweet dreams, my love. Stay enchanted, and I will see you in the next video. Love ya. Bye. Mwah.